Hello, folks. This is Jay. I'm going to talk a little bit about what happened. Don Lemon and the protesters going into the Baptist church and disrupting service. Now, this is a horrible event, and I think this event is a very important marker right now in our national history. But I think that there should be some messages to the actual churches. And I want to highlight that you have people who have come into the churches. Some of the people in that congregation could have been somehow involved with this protest. I saw the lack of fire, and some guys were just sitting on their hands or just consoling children. And I was just amazed that nobody had any fire to get up. And some Christians believe that, oh, no, you just sit there and be passive, and there's passive aggressive and all. To me, that's just so much pansy going on. It just drives me nuts that a church could be invaded like that and people just sit there. The pastor said some good things. He said it was shameful. Nobody wanted to talk. But I was hoping for a more vigorous, muscular pronouncement. Get out. You're not welcome here. This is trespassing. Take all your people and get out of here right now. Ushers, stand up. Men, stand up. Stand up around your people. Guard your family. Get them out. Or get these people out of here. It is not wrong to have bouncers or ushers with some muscle and and I know Don Lemon said, "Don't touch me." And also the guy who called himself a prophet, who was in there yelling at the kids, yelling at the pastor. You should have your people down in the area protesting for Somalians and Latinos and all this stupid stuff. No, they say that their reason to invade the church was because an ICE agent is a member there. Hogwash. You have no reason to enter a church. Churches have policemen who attend there. That's okay. The pastor who married me was a police officer. I have my own ideas about police, but this was a good guy. He was attending our church. He was a pastor. He was awesome at the time. So we have a problem. We have a severe problem. The woman shouting, marching, raising her fist, leading the march into the church, she called herself a reverend. This is witchcraft, you guys. Please, this is witchcraft. I know people don't want to talk about Satan, witchcraft, spooky, and all this stuff. This is actual biblical witchcraft. You have women who there's just unbelievable sin and depravity in your face, and they brought it into a church of God. Now, churches in the area, you need to respond. You need to get your people together, get your ushers together, and be ready, because they promised that they were going to do it again. So, young men, learn to wrestle. Learn how to grab these guys by the arms, get them by right above the elbow, and you need two people to drag people out, or practice it. Practice with somebody who was heavy, and practice getting them and pulling them out of the church, or some kind of pepper gel, paintball. I don't think this is a time for lethal means. I hope it doesn't come to that. I hope none of these people bring guns into the church and shoot Christians, because it's happened before. But churches are allowing this false doctrine to fester and to get worse. The sexual depravity. These are the churches that are willing to invade the Baptist church. Don Lemon, he said himself that he doesn't believe in the same Christianity that those people believe. Yeah, that's true. The Christianity, the gospel is different because it's a false doctrine. The God of the Bible doesn't allow sexual depravity, but yet he feels that he's entitled to do that. There's a reprobate mind, and Christians need to understand that. You hear these things from the far left Christian pulpits. They even use the term that Jesus would come in and flip tables. Jesus went into his own church. He didn't go into someone else's church and flip tables. He went into the place where he was opening up scrolls and reading. He wasn't going to a different region, different country, or opening up or knocking over statues and turning over tables in the pagan religions. There were pagans. There were people who believed in all kind of fake stuff in all around the world in that region. Jesus didn't do that. So if you're going to knock over a table, do it in your own church and be ready for the consequence of knocking over the table. But this whole knocking over the table thing, you better think about what you're doing, because a lot of pastors, a lot of these guys are good, loyal, God-loving people. You do have a lot of wolves out there. You do have a lot of witches out there, people who are taking these leadership church roles, who are into personal power, or they're just wolves. They want money. They like the proximity of being around churches and the money. Be careful. Be careful whose table you knock over. Now, Jesus took the cord, and you can read that in the Gospels, and he whipped the money changers and all that. That isn't what happened here. Men, young men, train with each other. Be built up in the faith, study the scriptures, pray, but also you have to take a physical role in your church and your family. Thanks.